Yeah. They are not like us, yo. We are back. It's Mega Ran. And man, oh man. Okay. So this has been rap news becoming in fast and furious like wrestling news these days. This is insane. Okay. This has been a whirlwind 24 hours plus of nonstop rap news. First of all, I want to shout out a couple of people. Oh, I got some really good things just came in the mail. Hold on. I want to shout out One Shot for the voice drops. Soothing Yuzu. But today, I need a boost, so I'm going to take a chew. The Focus Chews are 100% of your daily vitamins. And they look just like Now and Later, basically. You can use my code. Your boy actually has a code. And on that code, you can get 10% off with the code with the mega at oneshotenergy.com. Got to get all the promotional things out of the way. But here, man, Renslayer giving a little bit of the blow by blow, but honestly, it's even worse. Honestly, this is it's pretty bad, yo. It's pretty bad. All right, I can't even begin to explain what's happening in this lawsuit, but I will try with the help of some statistics. What's up, Pagan? What's up, Renslayer? What's up, Joy? What's up, Charisma? Keg? All right. Renslayer says, this is the clip notes. Drake was accused of grooming the kid from Stranger Things. 3 years later, Drake went to smoke from Kendrick, and Kendrick brought that up. So Drake is now suing him because Kendrick called that out, and Drake is claiming it was botted. Okay, that is not the worst cliff notes of this, but I think it gets a lot deeper. I honestly think there's actually some really important ramifications to this entire thing. So I want to try to give you everything. I've been texting like 7 different people about this, and we've been getting so many great takes on it. And all my friends constantly want to know, my point of view. I have so many friends whose point of views I want to know and things like that. So I just want to try to get it all out in one place so that when somebody hits me up tomorrow and says, what do you think about this next Drake news? Because it might be something else. I can just send them a link because I don't want to recap and rehash everything that's going on. So from this point where we are today, there are, I don't know if you call it, what is it, an injunction? I guess there's a threat to sue that's out there. I don't know if this has actually been filed. I feel like it maybe has been. So here, I want to start from the beginning at the top of the list, and I'm going to use actual screenshots because I don't know how much of this I could possibly pull off the top of my head because it's a lot. All right, so let's get on the all right, so I guess I should have made this bigger. I should probably do a reverse and make myself smaller and the words appear bigger. But anyway, let's try this out. And here we go. All right, so this was published yesterday at night and then updated at 3:10. So Drake threatens to sue Universal Music Group and Spotify for inflating Not Like Us streams. So the initial suit is not because of, again, this is not, Drake was, Drake beat me up or anything like that. It's not, Drake had, he said things about me that I don't like. It's not any of that. It's just, quite frankly, you cheated. So again, this is coming from the Donald Trump school of thought already. But anyway, if you're not familiar, you've been under a rock. 7 months ago, the biggest beef of the digital age happened. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. I'm not going to get into how it started, who started it, whatever. This has been a long time rivalry that has happened professionally, maybe personally. Some things might have been said. Kendrick Lamar set it all off with a song called Like That, where he featured on it. On that song, he said some things. He didn't say anything personal, never even said Drake's name in that song, but we knew what it was. J. Cole, another person who was referenced on that song, backed out immediately and was like, I don't want these problems. Drake jumps right in and says, let's go. Tries to back him. Gives him the, I'm not going to recap. I have a YouTube video up about this. A lot of my homies, we got together and we had a really, really fun chat. However, yeah, we're in discovery. There is no lawsuit yet. Thank you for that, Captain Charisma. So there's a lot of good places you can go to get information on that part of this beef. I am not here to give you the beginning of that. However, I am very sad that We Ride the Bus is not streaming anymore. You guys heard of that, right? That's the cover that this dude did of Drake's song, and it's nowhere to be found now. But anyway, shout out to everybody for popping up. Shout out to the followers. Shout out to everybody. All right, now let's get to it. Now, it was universally decided, and again, the way rap battles are won and lost are usually by the people. The people decide what songs are better, which decides who wins. Sorry, eating my one shot. All right, let's read. Drake is taking his rap beef with Kendrick Lamar to court. In a petition filed Monday in the New York Supreme Court, the Canadian rapper accused the Universal Music Group and Spotify of engaging in a scheme to ensure that Lamar's diss track Not Like Us broke through on multiple streaming platforms. This is a complete joke already to me, because I don't know if y'all remember when Drake's album Scorpion came out, and Drake was literally the front cover artist on every Spotify playlist. Anyway, let me read it. It's only cheating when it doesn't work out for you. So remember that, y'all. That's the way it's looking. But We Ride the Bus is on YouTube. Okay. It's not on Spotify anymore. All right. Kylie, what's up? All right. Let me get this down so I don't have to choke while I'm reading. All right. All right. So basically, Drake is saying, you didn't beat me. These people conspired to make your song more popular than mine. They played it more often. They drilled it in everybody's head. They used all the typical tactics that have made me the number one artist, and they decided to turn and use them for you. Now, the irony of that is, again, it's only bad when it's not benefiting you. But anyway, here we go. UMG schemes to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us were motivated, at least in part, by the desire of executives at Interscope Records to maximize their own profits, Drake's petition claims. He suspects UMG engaged in racketeering through bribery, as well as deceptive business practices and false advertising. So now this is becoming a RICO case because he believes that there's a lot of illegal activity happening on the back channels that makes these songs work. Now, any artist, musician, I hope we have musicians in here because I'm going to be speaking from a musician standpoint. And a lot of us have a lot of inside baseball on this stuff, the way this works. So anyway, let me keep going. As such, Drake asked the court to order the companies to hand over evidence related to his claims, otherwise known as pre-action discovery, so he could file a legal complaint. So there has not been a lawsuit yet. Social media reacts. The rapper took the legal dispute across state lines with another filing in Texas made public Tuesday. Variety and Billboard reported. The new petition accused UMG of making funneled payments to iHeartRadio as part of a pay-to-play scheme to spread the song across the airways, as the outlets say. All right, I don't know. Has anybody ever watched Cadillac Records? Anybody ever watched The Five Heartbeats? Literally any movie about the music industry, and you've probably seen them in some way show a scene where a person with a bag of money goes to a record station and gets the radio to play a song. This is the idea of payola and pay to play is literally it's as old as time. Anytime you're dealing with a freaking human being who is in charge of what gets played and says, oh, if that's my favorite song, I'm gonna play it, you gotta believe that there is some sort of other side of motivation factors that go into what songs they play. It might be money. It might just be this person's a really nice guy, and every time I hang out with him, he smiles and makes me feel like $1 million. Or he's sliding that PayPal payment through. Anyway, the following also offers a more detailed look at Drake's ire towards UMG. He accuses the music giant of knowing Lamar's song falsely claimed he was a pedophile, but released it anyway. Okay. This is what I thought the very first complaint of this whole thing was going to be. Like, all right, man, I don't want 1 million people all over the world screaming A minor or certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Wop, 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 wop. Okay. If the whole point of this is, man, I don't want people saying these very negative, untrue things about me, and this song is going to make people do that, hey, man, maybe rap battling isn't for you. Because I'd love to take y'all down memory lane briefly. Just briefly. We're going to go through memory lane, and I want to play y'all some of the worst diss songs in rap history. Just really quickly, because rap music has gone a long way with disrespecting people. So I'm going to even start before, you know what, not with Dr. Dre. I'm going to start with the greatest of all time, which I feel to be, and that's No Vaseline. Now, if I play this song, I don't know if I'm going to freaking get banned or what. There is no video for it because this song was way too, a fan-made video. All right, let's play a fan-made video. Why not? All right, so just to give you an idea of what happens in No Vaseline, Ice Cube is writing a song about NWA, his former group. He leaves the group. He was kind of the brains behind the group. He was the star. He left the group, and because these guys were, you know, gangsters, they wouldn't let him leave the group peacefully. They were like, nah, we gonna have to just dish you on the way out. And so at the end of his second album, this wasn't on America's Most. This was on Ice Cube made an incredible solo album. Left them and made an incredible solo album, America's Most Wanted. Second album he made, just as incredible, is called what is it called? Death Certificate. And at the very end of this album, it's so funny. He has the life side, the death side, the life side. Death side is like all the ignorance. The life side is like, oh, let's heal the community. He's talking about turning Muslim and stuff. And then at the very end of the album, Cube's like, oh wait, I forgot to do something. And here it is. This is what he forgot to do.
Oh yeah. It ain't over, motherfucker.
That version. We don't need to go into all this. He literally pulls out a gun. And anyway, so back to what we're dealing with. Drake is saying that Kendrick went too far when he called them those names. All right, so now UMG designed, financed, and then executed a plan to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit with the intent of using the spectacle of harm to Drake and his businesses to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive revenues. That plan succeeded, likely beyond UMG's wildest expectations, Drake's lawyers write, according to the outlets. The filing in New York named Frozen Moments LLC as the petitioner. Drake is a manager of this LLC. The suggestion that UMC would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue, the music corporation said in a statement to USA Today. We employ the highest ethical practices, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. All right. So now, Drake accusing Universal Music of pay-to-play schemes. This is a very interesting thing. So I'm trying to get to where. Oh, here it is. So he's claiming that UMG, Universal Music Group, who basically, there's only like 2 record labels that put out all the big music we listen to. So Drake wins, they win. Kendrick wins, they win. So why would they develop a scam that specifically helps Drake lose? Well, according to him in this lawsuit, he was up for a renegotiation. So they basically want to knock him down a pedestal or a level on this pedestal so that there are more people that can kind of, so that you can get Drake for less money. Like if he's at the top of his game and he's the number 1 streamed artist and he's the number 1 blah blah blah, he has at the top of his negotiating power. This part is true. I mean, that makes sense to me. So you catch somebody when they're down. I don't think the answer is to make them fall down just so that you can negotiate better with them. I think that the people chose Kendrick and Drake is having a hard time dealing with that. I think that's what this whole thing deals with. Citing a statement from an unknown whistleblower on a podcast, Drake accuses the company of conspiring with unknown parties to purchase bots that artificially inflate the spread of Not Like Us and deceive consumers into believing the song was more popular than it was in reality. Bro, I couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song this summer. That is insane to me that you think that someone created that. And even if they did, they literally create everything. Every time a song goes nuts, someone creates it. Okay. To this date, Not Like Us has garnered 914 million plays on Spotify. Good Lord. Lamar's Humble is his most streamed track with 2.4 billion streams. Last year, Drake landed at number 4 on Spotify's list of most streamed artists globally. Lamar was not named on the top 10 in any metric in 2023. So Drake was even saying in his songs, basically, you owe me a check because I've made you more popular because now you're beefing with the number 1 guy, which there's probably is some truth to that. However, UMGs, they say, engaged in similar pay-to-play schemes to increase the airplay of Not Like Us on the radio, known as payola, sliding bags of money to record radio disc jockeys. Drake alleges that companies attempted to cover up these schemes by terminating employees associated or perceived as having loyalty to Drake. Streaming and licensing is a zero-sum game. Every time a song breaks through, it means another artist does not. Oh my God. Oh my God. So Drake's looking out for the little guy here. Oh man, I wasn't even realizing, yo. Oh my gosh, yo. Yo, Drake's looking out for me and you. That's what this is all about, man. That Aubrey, man, just such a man. He's got a heart. Whew. Drake alleges these companies, UMG's choice to saturate the music market with Not Like Us comes at the expense of other artists like Drake. As Drake is Petitioner's sole owner and Petitioner owns the copyright to Drake's entire catalog, Petitioner suffered economic harm as a result of UMG's scheme. Both Drake and Lamar have deals with Universal Music Group, which delivers both of their music. All right. So now I want to get into, I'm going to stop there, but Rory from formerly of Joe Budden's podcast had a really good take on this, and I want to make sure we all see it and hear it. Okay. Nothing to do with the battle. I'm here for the jokes, just giving a different perspective. If UMG, in fact, charged 30% lower than its usual licensing fee, then all artists should be upset. All right, take a look at this. And this is where we get into a little bit of inside baseball, but it's important.
I have no dog in this fight. I like Kendrick's music. I like Drake's music. I also think both of them have used bots via UMG, whether they knew it or not. What stood out to me in that paperwork was the accusation that UMG lowered their licensing rate by 30% for Not Like Us. Just a quick history lesson. How we even got to the value of what a stream is was based off Spotify and the 3 majors negotiating on what that value would be. What makes it even crazier is all 3 majors have actual stock and ownership within Spotify.
That's mad illegal, by the way.
That would be illegal in any other business in the world, but it's the music industry, so anything can fly. Out to the point that I worked at a major when Spotify went public, and they emailed all of us as employees and said, you cannot buy stock because that would be insider trading. Now imagine.
Okay. I mean, this is like, hello, Spotify is corrupt, but water's wet. But this is a very interesting thing to read and note that if you work at a label and they tell you, hey, Spotify is about to go public, you can't buy it. You can't buy into it. Yet they all have bought in.
Imagine you're an artist and you know that the people that own your music plus the people that distribute your music, which is a whole separate tech company, are in cahoots to define what a dollar means within the music industry. And then you later find out that for one artist and one song, they devalued that dollar. You wouldn't have an issue with it?
All right.
I have.
So, all right. Shout out to Rory. I think this is a great insight, but it leads to me having to give even more insight. Have you guys heard of what's the it's called discovery mode? Sorry, I was looking up Drake dad jokes before I got on. Okay, I'll explain what Spotify discovery mode is. Now, I don't know that they would do this for Kendrick, but why wouldn't they? All right, so discovery mode, I'm going to go to a third party. As an indie artist, you're always looking for a way to get ahead, an edge. You could even say a shortcut. Well, Spotify discovery mode is not a shortcut, but it can help you grow your music career. The catch is Spotify takes a portion of your streams in exchange. So what is Spotify's discovery mode? Look at, it's almost the exact same words as what he said. Spotify discovery mode is a tool. I'm sorry if it's not big enough or visible enough for you guys on that screen. I do apologize. Spotify's discovery mode is a tool that lets you, the artist, push your music out to more people through its algorithm. Go on. In exchange, Spotify keeps a 30% commission on all streams pushed out via discovery mode context. Currently, Spotify Radio, Autoplay, and Daily Mix, and not from anywhere else. I didn't know that part. Not from anywhere else, and I don't really know what that means. But the point is, if someone listens to your song via discovery mode, Spotify will keep 30% of that payout. But if that listener adds that song to your own playlist, then you get 100% of the streaming royalties. This tool does not guarantee more streams. This is what Spotify is going to have to cite in court, I'm sure, if this goes that far. But it does increase the likelihood of selected songs being recommended. Now, they instantly open this article by telling you, what's up, Shanika, that this is something that will help independent artists. So if they open this with independent artists and then they started opening it to major labels, which would not be surprising to me, and then you say, hey, do you want us to put Not Like Us into the hopper? Basically, they kind of turbo boost it, but they take 30%. And 30% is the exact number that this lawsuit alleges. So to me, it sounds like he's saying Not Like Us was put into this discovery mode program. Is Spotify discovery mode worth it? According to Spotify, on average, artists who use discovery mode see a 50% boost in saves, 44% boost in playlist ads, and 37% boost in follows. They calculate these increases by looking at track stats in 28 days prior and then the days after. Sounds pretty cool, right? Well, let's see if discovery mode is actually worth it based on people who've used it. I have used it. I can even show you guys a little bit of the inside. This is inside baseball. How much do you make per stream on Spotify? All right, so here it is. Here's the numbers, y'all. Now, I'm not telling y'all don't use Spotify or anything like that, but I think it's important to know. Oh, dang, why am I off the screen like that? I'm not telling y'all don't use Spotify because I use Spotify, but I think it's important to know that we don't make a whole lot. We make 0.003 cents to 0.005 cents per stream, but that amount can vary. It varies based on factors like the amount that they paid, like if they're a subscriber or if they're just a free listener, the listener's location. So if they're in the U.S., you probably make the full three hundredths of a cent. But if you're on, Galapagos Island, it probably don't make that. Probably make half that. The specific agreement between Spotify artists and their label. So if you got a label and the label has a different take how the music is streamed, I don't know what they mean by that. The listener's listening habits, like how often they play it. So artists should not count on streaming royalties, especially when they're starting out. You should have multiple sources of income within the music world, obviously. All right. So anyway, I don't mind. I'm not telling anybody here not to use Spotify because, get the music how you can get it. Only thing I ask you is if I come to your town, if I come anywhere near, if I come within 2 hours of you, please come out. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. These shady business practices are exactly why I raised the stank when the Twitch DJ program was touted as supporting the artists. The artists don't make anything off Spotify, and with Twitch DJs being less than 1% of the total streams overall, it's not about money. I can see that. Less than 1% of the total streams overall. That could be. I don't know. Yeah, that I actually don't know. Like I don't know how many DJs there are on Twitch, but. All right. So, getting back to this lawsuit and why I think it's actually a bit of a bigger deal than a lot of people want to actually say is based on similar sentiments to what is being said in this, ironically, Barstool Sports, the most like bro site there is. I kind of agree with it. This is kind of what I was saying to friends. This is, all right, what Drake wants, it's like $700 million in damages. And I think he wants to get out of his record deal with Universal Music. Now, this sounds funny. We're getting, the jokes is flying. However, he is super rich. He is a pop star. He is a pop icon. He's ran music business for 10, 15 years, even though I don't care as much as probably nobody in this chat listens to him like that. But he's one of the biggest artists. And no pop artist has freedom, full ownership of their catalog, or anything like that. All of them have either died broke or died fighting their label. So this is his one chance to get it back, and I think he's doing it on the back of taking this loss. So it does look mad corny that he's like, man, they cheated me, blah blah blah. But I honestly think that this fight it's got a bigger meaning, and I think it's a lot more important than what any of us will think. It's the lamest but most important thing in music. All right, let's read it. Yesterday's news hit that Drake was suing Spotify and Universal, claiming that Kendrick Lamar's smash hit and final nail in Drake's coffin, Not Like Us, was artificially inflated by bots and fake views and downloads. Drake dropped a lawsuit before he dropped a good response record. Naturally, the internet is going bonkers. The memes and jokes are flying. The clowning is incessant. Drake is essentially suing the guy who beat him in a rap battle. You can't script a lamer response in the world of hip hop. This is literally like getting punched in the nose, and then your mom comes around and says, "You'll be hearing from our lawyers." Rap battles are supposed to be like gladiators going at it. I mean, we just talked about literally Dr. Dre putting a red beam on his ops in a music video. Defamation. All right, so anyway, I understand rapping. I'm just laughing at the irony. Let me take a drink. Oh gosh, sorry. Woo. So I understand the reaction from the people. Gladiator sport. It's like heavyweight boxing champion stepping in the ring, and this would be like getting your butt beat and then suing. But at the same time, Drake is taking on the music industry. He's taking on the labels, the music execs, the DSPs, who are quite literally the worst. So again, laughing at Drake in this sense is almost standing up for people like Spotify and record labels, and we can't do that. We would never do that. So I'm saying there's a little bit more to this. So I think this is his way of gaining DJ's overall rank 41. Okay. Oh yeah, I would say if you say 1%, yeah, that's probably about right. Okay. The music industry is basically holding artists hostage as slaves under the most despicable business terms ever. We're talking artists accumulating billions of streams and receiving literally, virtually pennies for it. It's a model that one day eventually will have to break. Once music became digital. So this is Drake basically being the bad guy at the end of the game, at the end of the movie. His lips all bloody. He's beat. He's defeated, and he's still laughing. You're like, what's so funny? And then he goes, and he takes off his shirt, and he's got a time bomb ticking. That's basically it. He's gonna destroy the whole music business because he lost. That is basically where he's standing right now. Which, you know what I'm saying? If it gets uncovered that everybody's cheating and that the whole thing is disgusting, fine. His reasoning is trash. But, you know, he got nothing else to lose. What is he worried about? Street cred? Hip hop cred? I really think he's got to be planning a pivot out of music. And he just wants to be a billionaire, and he wants to own his masters, and he wants to ride off in the sunset. He wants to take his ball and go home. And I think the only way to do that is to freaking blow up the industry. He's got to blow the bridge up. You know what I mean? I just don't think there's any other way, because no musician, you know, it's funny and all, but this is like, I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember the end of Michael Jackson's life, but the last probably 10 years were awful. Everybody will tell you Michael Jackson fell off. You know what I'm saying? That he stopped making bangers because he wasn't getting crazy radio play. But behind the scenes, he was fighting for independence. He was fighting for ownership. He was fighting the record labels constantly. And they just would not give him his fair share of whatever he thought he had earned. And so he spent a whole lot of time dealing with them. And so therefore they would pull resources. Oh, well, we had CBS on speed dial. They were about to drop your, your video. But now that you don't want to play nicely with us, we're not going to do it. So, I mean, if you know anything past Dangerous, you might be a super fan. But yes, Michael Jackson was pretty much broke. I mean, he was renting a home at the end of his life. I mean, granted, he was paying like $28,000 a month, but he was renting a home. He didn't even own a home. In the home that he lived in and died in, because he was struggling with money. He was broke. He had creditors everywhere, all up his behind. And I'm not comparing Drake to Michael Jackson in any way, but honestly, I mean, if you count the numbers, there's no one else to compare him to. And that mega pop stars don't they don't ride off into the sunset with their billions and get chubby and move to Miami. You know what I'm saying? They work until they die, for the most part. They tour until they die. I don't know if you saw that This Is It, but like Cat Williams told you, he told you this is it, and he died. But no, it was literally him like being almost too sick to get up, but then having to do it because he owed so much money to so many creditors. You know what I'm saying? This dude was like dead tired, couldn't sleep, had to take drugs just to sleep. So anyway, and I'm not, turning this again. This is some grand spin. This is a grand spin by Drake. That's what this is. It's to garner sympathy with a grand spin by saying, I lost, but isn't the record business corrupt? And we're like, yes, it is. All right, go on, my guy. And then he, basically go on. So anyway, that's basically what this is probably going to say, but I didn't finish reading it. Once music became digital, these platforms out of the gates who could host the music seemingly held all the cards and basically had all the leverage over every single artist, save a few names. And it has become more and more public that you could become mega famous with millions of people listening to your music. But the only way you become rich is by busting your ass for years on end on a world tour. It just feels like eventually there was going to be some kind of revolution, like a writer's strike in entertainment. I always personally believe that eventually musical artists would band together and reject that. Has not happened yet, but maybe it will. I don't know if Drake will be the rallying point though, but I don't know. I don't know enough about the music industry to know whether that's possible. That maybe artists could do it in a literal sense with some sort of union, or maybe in a figurative sense in a less official and legal capacity. But whether it was a year from now or 20 years from now, eventually that model would be broken. Labels, while doing their best to keep their stranglehold over the industry with their whack tactics, are becoming less and less necessary in the modern age of the DSPs. While extremely important, digital service providers, streaming providers like Spotify and Apple Music are extremely important in terms of text and distribution, simply don't have a product if artists don't create. So the thing is that we don't know is, because I don't know the price of these things, it's extremely expensive to put everybody's music on Spotify. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, Spotify is only the number one store because it has the number one artist. If it didn't have Drake, if it didn't have Kanye, if it didn't have Rihanna, Bad Bunny, no one would care. They wouldn't go there. So it costs money to keep those people there. So again, like Rory was saying, if they just knew you could just chop 30% off of what the rate is for that song just to make that song pop, then wouldn't you have a problem with that? I don't know. Anyway, so to me at least, it seems like a formula where eventually the light bulb goes off in some artists' heads and they say, all right, man, forget this system. We're putting an end to this indentured servitude. Drake started testing those waters when 100 gigs dropped. Now, I don't know if y'all familiar with 100 gigs, but I didn't listen. But Drake apparently just dropped a zip file on his website with 100 gigs of content. It was video, it was songs, it was all types of things that apparently some cool stuff leaked out of it. But tour footage, studio footage, conversations with homies, unofficial music video drops, like basically the kind of stuff you'd put on Patreon. So I'm really surprised he didn't just start a Patreon because I don't think he charged anything for it. Not only because new record deals are paying artists based on their online footprint, and what better way to show your internet value than have your fans listen to their music on your own website and social media, but because he also wanted to start showing an artist his size doesn't need corrupt people involved in his business. So with all that being said, there's three things happening simultaneously. Suing over a diss track being too popular is objectively lame. Litigation in general is not cool. It's snitching. It's weak. All those things are lame, but especially in the rap world, it's super weak. Hip hop culture is never going to embrace any form of litigation or running to the law when something goes wrong. So therefore, you're not going to get hip hop support on this. And in a battle where the war cry was that Drake is not like us, this absolutely solidifies that Drake is not like us. I'm not fully qualified to speak on the matter. That means it's probably a white person writing this. But I would imagine that a lot of the rap industry and black culture view this as white people things. Suing when you lose is Karen behavior. This is a Karen move. And they ask for the manager. Suing is asking for the ultimate manager of battle rap. So not only is suing over a diss track when you objectively lost a battle lame, but there's another layer of that for a guy who is a light-skinned biracial rapper who has always been accused of not being truly a part of the culture and only taking from it. It's like, Drake, your white side is showing. And with an exception of a few guys, white people shit is generally viewed as lame in hip hop. Okay, all right. This is opinionated stuff, but yeah, he gets to some good points. While all that is true, simultaneously what Drake is doing might be the most important thing in modern music history, and that's taking on the music industry. Kanye tried to do it. I don't know what happened with that. Exposing Spotify and labels for colluding and forcing them to potentially open these books for public record could potentially change music for the better forever. The lawsuit is not about Kendrick Lamar. Unfortunately, the timing says that it is. It's about the shady, shadowy, seedy billionaires getting exposed for being pieces of garbage. Think about any time there's been a labor dispute in sports. Yes, there's the typical take of, oh, this is just millionaires arguing with each other over a game. But anybody with half a brain knows that the owners who are being greedy scumbags. Yes, the athletes make millions, but the owners make billions. And while every athlete's contract is public knowledge, the owner's books are completely private. True. So that detour that we just took to sports applies here. If you're siding with UMG and Spotify, then you probably suck. It's like siding with the owners in sports. The guy's like the owner of the Oakland A's who will watch his team be trash and fail and eventually have to move cities before he reaches into his fat wallet and pay for a product the fans deserve. The Spotifys and the UMGs of the world are the John Fishers of the Oakland A's. Shout out to any of our people in Oakland. It's very shameful what's going on out there because they're losing the Oakland A's because they don't want to compete. They don't want to put a competing product on the field. All right. Any questions? I'd love to answer them at any time. All right. Mega Ran by Acer. I'm interested because I don't really know. What happened with Tidal in comparison to Spotify? Are they still around? Did it work out better for artists? They are still around. They offer some things that people like. They have better sound quality. They have integration with DJs. They have integration with Serato. That's what I was trying to get to. So it's around. I think it costs the same amount of money and it's better quality, but it's like a distant third as far as popularity. But remember how they started? It was like Jay-Z, a bunch of artists being like, okay, yo. Yeah, I gotta get to this guy. This is hilarious. Oh man. So the guy, I don't know. To answer your question, Jay-Z and all of them was behind it. Jay-Z, what they did was they promised exclusivity. I remember Jay-Z saying the only way you can get my music is on Tidal. And for like 3 years, the only place you could get Jay-Z music was on Tidal. And so I was like, dang, I gotta go get Tidal to hear Reasonable Doubt. I'll just not hear Reasonable Doubt. So I never did. And now all that stuff is back on Spotify. So it was a short move. Anyway, Drake is so hated by so many people that there actually are people out here doing just that, siding with the labels. You are really so anti-Drake that it makes you side with Universal CEO Lucian Grange, with Sony Music's Rob Stringer or Warner's Robert Krenkel. How the hell are you going to side with a guy whose last name is Krenkel? How do you not even have a single vowel in your last name? That's some true villain-ish if I ever seen it. Can't even pronounce his name. It feels like Mitsuplik or something from Superman. I promise you, no matter how much you hate Drake, and believe me, I know all the reasons, like DMX and then Kendrick said, I hate the way that he walks, I hate the way that he talks, I hate the way that he dressed, the Drizzy BBL, the hair braids, the code switching, the culture vulture behavior, the overall corniness and cringiness. Add up all of that, and you're still not approaching how much music labels and executives suck. If this was a different artist taking it to the labels and executives, you'd be praising them, because based on the facts of the matter, the general public would always automatically side with artist over label. If some anti-establishment punk rock artist was leading this cause, they'd be regarded as a hero. If it was Rage Against the Machine, before they became Rage Against the Machine, it would be called a revolution. But it's Drake, so people are failing to see the forest through the trees. It's the timing of it all too. But I don't like to be that person of why now, because that's what like a lot of jerks use for to try to dismiss people's like sexual assault charges and stuff. Like, oh, well, the timing. Why are they complaining now? Why didn't they say something back then? But that's the only part I can't get over is why didn't Drake complain when this was benefiting him? Well, obviously, Because it was benefiting him.
That's why.